Hi, lovely dog owners. I thought I'd try something a little bit different today than my normal daily email. So I thought I'd have a go at doing a little bit of a video for you instead. I've just come off a lovely walk and I was thinking about a few different things that I wanted to talk about, and I thought I'd do it as a video instead of a email. So here goes. Let me know what you think. So those of you that know me and kind of follow me regularly know that I love reading. I love books. I have a lot of books. I have two separate libraries, which are bookcases basically, but one is for like all my nice fiction books, and one is for my doggy books as well. So I've got a whole bookcase full of my dog books. The book I'm reading at the moment is a book by the author of The Life of Pi, which was a book and then it was made into a film as well. And the author's called Jan Martel. So I really enjoyed The Life of Pi. I enjoyed the film, but I absolutely loved the book as well. Really, really loved it. And so when he released a new book, I thought, right, I'll have to read that as well. So the new book that I'm reading is The High Mountains of Portugal. Obviously by Jan Martel. And there was something in it which really made me laugh out loud the other night when I was reading it. So there's three different parts to the story, and the last part of the story is about a man and a chimpanzee that he adopts as a pet. And when he picks up this chimpanzee, he's asking for advice from the people that he's getting the chimpanzee from about sort of behaviours and things like that. So that part's obviously quite interesting for me. And one particular thing that he says, so how do I restrain him? He's expecting to be given a lead and a collar, obviously, so that he can hold him and keep him close and, keep him safe. And the guy who has been looking after this chimpanzee, the sort of previously in the rescue, says to him, his answer is, how would you restrain your wife, basically? And that kind of made me laugh. Obviously, you don't have a collar and a lead for your partners, wives or husbands, and he was sort of saying, why we wouldn't put one on a chimpanzee as well. So anyway, where I am now in the story, he's headed off, he's in Portugal, he's headed off to the mountains with this chimpanzee. He hasn't got a collar and a lead, and it's a relationship based on love of each other and trust as well. And he's trusting that the chimpanzee is going to stay close, so he takes himself off into trees. He goes and sits on roofs of houses and things like that. But he comes back, and that struck a bit of a chord with me, because I'm a big believer in the fact that we shouldn't be using our tools with our dogs, our leads and our harnesses and our collars as a restraint. If we are restraining our dogs from something, whether it's other dogs or people or traffic, if that we're constantly restraining them from things, there's probably something wrong. There's probably something that we need to work on. And particularly when I'm working on things like lead work and recall, for example, with puppies, we should be training them as if they've not got a collar and a lead on. We should be using that collar and lead as a safety net rather than as a restraint, rather than something to hold them back. So obviously we need them there. We need to keep our dogs safe. But the reason they should be with us shouldn't just be because they're on a lead and a collar. They should be there because we've built that relationship and we've built that trust with them. And that's what we're doing with our reward-based training and building that bond with them and using our clicker and using our treats. We're building up that relationship with them. We're building up that trust so that we can trust them to stay close and they can trust us to look after them as well. In the previous book by Jan Martel, The Life of Pi, one of my favourite characters is, and I'm sure will be a lot of people's favourite characters as well, is the tiger, who is called Richard Parker. And I don't want to spoil the book in case anyone's not read it or seen the film, but when at the end of the book, that Richard Parker made me cry a lot. I empathised with the main characters, but the character of the tiger, Richard Parker. I cried a lot about him. And going on from that, obviously that was a fictional book. He wasn't restraining his tiger. The new book that I'm reading, he's not restraining his chimpanzee. It's fiction. But across the country in animal sanctuaries and zoos and things like that, they're able to administer medications and do health checks without restraining their animals, because they've trained them to do it. They've trained them to come and have blood taken. They've trained them to come close and have their nails clipped and things like that. And they're not using anything as a restraint. So if people are able to work with animals like tigers and lions and elephants and giraffes without using restraint, we should be able to work with our dogs without using restraint as well, just using the right training. So that's what I was thinking about anyway. Let me know what you think. I might be talking a load of rubbish, but that's what's been buzzing around my head on this walk. Hope that's made you think as well. Okay, bye.